Take control of your life. You fucked up, so you fix it. You made bad decisions, so you own it. You want a different life. You want the money, the power, the respect, so you get up off your ass and go take it. Because talking about it is not gonna bring you that life that you want. Crying about it is not gonna bring you that life that you want. It's okay to be emotional, but it's not okay to stay emotional. Why? Because there ain't no fucking emotion there. Top of the morning, ain't no money in the bed. Baby, wake that ass up. Understand this. Stop acting like life is only happening to you. Take ownership of your life. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming your circumstances. Because the moment that you stop pointing that finger at everybody else, the moment that you start to take ownership of your life is the moment that you can start to change your life. Blaming everything and everyone but yourself might make you feel better in the moment because it makes you feel comfortable. It makes it feel like everything is not your fault. But in reality, that will not move your life forward because that behavior keeps you stuck, waiting for the world to change instead of changing yourself. And as long as you keep making excuses, you'll keep getting the same results because the truth is, nothing changes until you do. So stop waiting, stop blaming, stop letting your past, your mistakes, or other people control your life. Take ownership, take action, and keep moving forward because the only way to change your story is if you write it your damn self. Good morning. This life you living don't get no easier. You get stronger. That pressure you feeling don't get no lighter. You find a way to thrive in it because adapting isn't an option. It's mandatory. And resilience isn't a choice. It's survival. Top of the morning, ain't no money in the bed. Baby, wake that ass up. Understand this. Clarity does not come before the struggle. It comes because of it. You don't become strong when everything in your life is perfect. You become strong in the midst of battle when life is testing you. When you have no other option but to adapt and respond to life with resilient effort. Nobody's gonna hand you some magical manual for life when everything starts falling apart. So you must live by 3 words. Figure it out and do that by any means necessary. So adjust your mindset, adjust your habits, even adjust your pace of life. But one thing you must never do is adjust your purpose. Resilience isn't about being fearless. It's about showing up scared and doing it anyway. It's about taking hits, taking losses, losing confidence, but still refusing to stop. Understand this, life doesn't reward comfort. It rewards resilience. So whatever you're going through, adapt, survive, and figure it out because you are capable and you got this. Good morning.
I never had fear of failing or anything like that. I always had this philosophy, like at the time when I decided that I wasn't gonna do that job, I was a bellman at the Boston Harbor Hotel. And my thing was always like, if this doesn't work out, I can always be a bellman, right? I can be a bellman when I'm 50. I can be a bellman when I'm 35. I can be a bellman whenever I want to be. But can I achieve this other thing that I want? Why not give it a shot? I was 19. Now's the time. Not married, I got no kids, nothing tying me down. Why would I not go for this right now? And all my other friends are in college. So I was working the overnights at the Boston Harbor Hotel, and I signed up for classes at UMass.
Yeah.
So I would take the classes in the daytime and never really went to college. I mean, I signed up, I went to a few classes and said, you know what, not for me. I always knew for some reason, I say this all the time, but it's the truth. I've been very lucky in my life in that I always knew exactly who I was and what I wanted to do, even when I was young. And I knew school wasn't my thing, that school definitely wasn't gonna be my thing. And at that time, I don't know if that's still the narrative that's put on kids these days, but at that time, the big narrative was, if you don't go to college, you're never gonna amount to anything and you're gonna be working these type of jobs for the rest of your life. And I never necessarily believed that either. I believed that I knew what I wanted and I focused on it and I just went after it. I never cared about money. Money was never a motivating factor for me. Being able to do what I wanted to do was what motivated me. And when you do what you do and you do it well enough, the money just happens. I was a paver for these crazy Italian guys in Boston, the Evangelista brothers, Tommy, EJ. Yeah, they were. But that was the greatest job I ever had. The greatest job I ever had, because that taught me what real work was. You go lay asphalt and you do construction and pour concrete and these type of things, that's when you really find out what real work is, what hard work is. These people that work construction and paving and things like this, they get up every day and they work hard. So like me, like people say, I work hard. I saw a quote from you where you said Stephen A. Smith works hard, and I agree with you. Hard work, hard work. You go spend a couple weeks following a construction crew, and they'll show you what hard work is. Everything in life is about timing. All about timing. And the timing couldn't have worked out better for us with this thing. Not just Adam Corrigan's wedding, you know, Bob Meyerowitz being financially in trouble at that time with the UFC, you know, the demise of boxing. Boxing's on the downward spiral, but technology too. Income streaming, income social media. You know, this next generation needs to, you know, great quote by Ronald Reagan. Freedom is only one generation away from extinction. It's so true. All these people that complain about these billionaires and all these guys, who do you think's keeping this country afloat? How do you think this works, you dummies? Right? Where do you think this government money comes from? Where, you know, one of the things, all you young people that are watching this right now, you don't want anything from the government. The only thing you want from the government is for them to stay out of your business. That's it. As less government as absolutely possible. If you think the government is ever going to take care of you and make all your hopes and dreams come true, you are out of your mind. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. You know, when I worked at the Boston Harbor Hotel, we had security guards that had master's degrees from badass colleges in Boston. Right? Here's the problem with college, in my opinion. Everybody tells you when you're growing up, if you don't go to college, you'll never amount to anything, okay? And you have these kids that are walking around school that if you ask them, what's your major? Majoring in psychology, but I'm thinking about switching to school. Isn't the problem. The problem is they don't know what they want to do with their life.
That's right.
The biggest question in life is, who am I? Who am I? And what gets me so excited that I jump out of bed every day and I can't wait to go to work? When you figure that out, college, no college or whatever, you'll figure it out. You can go to college, get a degree in finance, which I think everybody should do, be honest with you. Finance rules the world. Finance and lawyers. I mean, lawyers and finance, they're the two guys that you need the most in the business. Other than the guy who is the creative driving force of the business, finance and lawyers. So I'm surrounded by all of them, okay? I know what my strengths are and I know what my weaknesses are. And one of my problems is I'm really good at making money. I'm really good. Not really good at taking care of it, you know what I mean? I'm like the broke dude who got rich. I'm really good at making it. Well, the thing is, for some people that come out of, some kids that you know, grow up with money, you know, this is the scenario for my kids now. My kids, it's impossible for my kids to grow up the way that I grew up, right? And it's just never gonna happen. It's impossible to do, but your kids have to have those jobs when they're young, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, that you realize you learn things from. This is real hard work. This is what I definitely don't wanna do. Maybe I wanna do this. You have to have these kind of jobs to sort of form who you are and what direction you wanna go in. So my son Aiden, he worked at U-Haul and doing everything. He had to fix taillights. He had to unload trucks. He had to move trucks and do all this stuff. And the phone calls I would get from him, I would be like, this is awesome. Yeah. So he decided that he didn't want to stay in college. He had to take these jobs because he was working on this business of his own that he's been trying to build. But you can't just build a business. You got to have money. You got to make money. You got to do this. So I'm trying to lead my kids in the right. And the U-Haul job was the greatest thing to ever happen to Aiden. He went out and actually applied for these jobs. He went out and had to put in applications, had to apply for these jobs. You know, the only thing I want from my kids is that they're happy. I don't care what they do for a living. I'm not one of these guys that's like, you know, oh, you got to go to med school and be a lawyer and all this other bullshit. I literally want my kids to be happy. I don't care what they do. As long as they're happy, One of the things I did when they were very young is I got them into surfing when they were babies. I love the whole surf culture and everything. I hope one of them or all three of them just become surfers and just travel the world and surf and don't give a shit about anything. I would be happy for them if that was their deal. Destroy teams by 100 points if you're capable of doing it. If that's what you're capable of doing, then do it, 100%. And to try to take away this you know, killer instinct from these kids is absolutely disgusting. I got to the point where I was just like, okay, this is what 53 feels like.
Yeah.
Right? I guess this is what 53, wrong.
Right.
That's not what 53 is supposed to feel like. This is what 53 is supposed to feel like.
Right. And look like.
I love it. I'm addicted. I was just telling Brandon this morning, I got to fly to Abu Dhabi tomorrow and I'm gone for 4 days. And it's driving me crazy that I'm not going to be able to do, you know, the recovery stuff for 4 days. I wake up in the morning, I do the cold plunge.
Okay.
I do the alkaline pad, I do the oxygen, and then I do the red light, and then I do my workout. I do it every day, yeah. Saturday and Sunday I don't work out, so I just recover on Saturday and Sunday. You know, I do it every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I'm addicted to it. I absolutely, positively love my people, right? Number one. Number two, when you think about your job, right? If your job is just a job, and you get up every day and you go to this place, and you're missing kids' football games, baseball games, volleyball games, you're missing their plays, some of you are missing their first words, their first step, their first everything, right? And you're doing it for a company that talks about you like that, and that's what they think about you? Yeah, it's just not my thing, man. Maybe that works for some of these guys and some of these people. Not me, not me. And when I look at, when you start talking about the bottom line and laying people off because you want to make more money, we make plenty of money. When you get into a position like COVID, which is the most extreme thing that could ever happen to a business, you know what I mean? And some of these people, you know, just go right in immediately. Here's the percentage of people that we're gonna cut. And it doesn't even become about, you start looking at numbers.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Sage Steele makes this much. See you, Sage Steele. Forget about everything you've done for me, Sage Steele. All the fucking years that you've, you know, like I said earlier, put other things off so that you could come help this business grow. That goes right out the fucking window, right? Now it's all about numbers. Yeah, no, so I said, if this doesn't work, take my salary, my bonus, and everything else, and company keep that, and that should settle it. Nobody does anything themselves. You need a badass, solid, great team. Every year, I stand up at that stage at the fucking Christmas party, and I tell my people how much I love them and how great they are, and the UFC's been this rocket ship of success, right? The first time we face adversity, yeah, we gotta let 40% of you guys go. There's no way in hell.
No.
I'd rather die. You can be whoever you want to be, and you can believe you are whatever you want to believe. I always say this is America, you do your thing, but men cannot compete against women. It's ridiculous, and it's common sense. I believe in life is too short. Live your life, be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want to do. You can't compete against women. I hate sleep. I love every minute of my life. Love every minute of it. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow. I can't wait to start tomorrow. And when you really feel that way, I really don't give a shit about a lot of things. When you get in early and you start playing the game, and as you work your way up and you start to see how things really work and how the world really operates, it's actually kind of gross. And I was never going to be a person that would do something against what I believed for money. I said it when I got into this thing. People thought I was ridiculous that I wanted to be in the fight business when I said I wanted to be in the fight business. We bought the UFC, people thought it was ridiculous and it would never work and it was never gonna be anything. The media wouldn't cover us anyway. We had to figure out how to run this business without the help of anybody. Then I wanted to start Power Slap. Everybody shit on it and said it would never work and didn't. If I cared what people thought, I'd still be a bellman at the Boston Harbor Hotel. You know what I mean? That's the truth. If I really cared what people thought, I'd still be doing that. I know some guys that are crazy rich and the most miserable human beings you could ever meet. If you get up every day and you're really happy and you really do enjoy and love your life, and you love doing, you're surrounded by people you love doing it with, you could not be more successful. And it doesn't have to be this, my life and what I do. It can just be your own version of whatever makes you happy every day. That is the key to success. Everything that's coming your way is deserved. You know, you're brilliant, you're smart, you're strong, and you're tough. You got to be tough.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look back now and say, you know, I had to do this because of this, that, and everything. You didn't have to do anything. You could have stayed comfortable. You could have stayed silent. You could have stayed, you know, a good little trooper and stayed in line. You didn't. You chose to go outside the lines. You chose to fight, and you chose to show everybody who you really are. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. And everything that you get from today on, you deserve. Congratulations.
$75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years, 75 winters, 75 springtimes, 75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste it.
The last thing you want to do is fast forward 5 years, 10 years, however many years, and think to yourself, holy crap. I probably should have spent those years doing something a little bit different.
The fear is never reaching your potential.
That's it.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
Yep.
What they've always wanted to get, people quit and they give up.
If you get out of high school,
Before they get what they've always wanted to get, people quit and they give up.
if you get out of high school, you don't know what to do, and then you start playing video games and you're on social media, a day can slip by like that.
Yeah.
A day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year, and before you know it, you're 30.
Yeah, right.
And you
That's
haven't
for
done
sure.
shit.
Yeah.
And that's really common.
What are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being? And I was willing to give everything to do that.
People give up right before they get what they've always wanted to get. People quit and they give up.
If you get out of high school, you don't know what to do, and then you start playing video games and you're on social media, a day can slip by like that.
Yeah.
A day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year, and before you know it, you're 30.
Yeah, right.
And you
That's
haven't
for
done
sure.
shit.
Yeah.
And that's really common.
What are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being? And I was willing to give everything to do that.
Tell me how to get to where you are. I think there's two key ingredients. One is see yourself as high as you possibly can see yourself. Clarify and define your vision for yourself in the highest possible way that you can see it. Number two is like believe it. Whatever you gotta do to protect that belief. My version of protecting that belief was I wasn't sharing this. I'm not even gonna give my own mother the chance to try to bring me back down to reality. It's not gonna happen.
Tell me how to get to where
choose to rise, not fall. I choose to live, not die. And I know that what's within me is also within you.
Because I'm one of the coldest niggas to ever live.
Talk the talk.
That will ever live. Even long after me, after I'm gone. It's still gonna be a wind chill in my absence because I'm so fucking cold.
God damn.
Stop.
The more you win, the more you should work harder. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.